Biology Lesson 2, Quotient of Powers. We'll be dividing the exponents, and lucky for you, the exponents are all positive. We don't get into the negative exponents till later on in the chapter, or the unit. All right, and on Friday we did the multiplying, and we just went over this. You multiply, what do you do to the exponents? When you multiply, we will add them. Now today we're going to get a quotient, and that's an answer when we what? Quotient is an answer when we divide. And what will we do if we divide? What do we do to the exponents? Subtract them. All right, write that down, and then I'll add a little bit to it here in a second. All right, when you look at the expanded form that I have up here, x divided by, or x to the 7th divided by x to the 3rd, that written out is, well, 7x is up here divided by x to the 3rd, 3x's. So what that means is when you simplify, those cancel out, those cancel out, those cancel out. What does that leave me with? X to the what? Fourth power left up here on the top in the numerator. And then on the bottom, how many are left in the bottom?
9.
But we don't put 0 because these cancel out, you know, 1 and 1, 1 and 1. So it's x to the 4th power over 1, which simplifies down to, because if you have 1 in the denominator, we can just make it then x to the 4th power. That's the same as if you have, when we were doing regular numbers, when you have 8 over 1, what does that equal? When you simplify that, that equals just 8. Same thing, if you have 17 over 1, that equals just 17. What is 1 over 5 equal?
1.
That just equals 1/5. If the 1 is on the top, you have to leave it there. Okay? Nice try, though. Nice try. But whenever it's on the bottom, we don't need it there, and we just simplify it right there. And that you'll need to know on one of the problems here in a little bit. Now, let's see. In words, that means to divide powers having the same base. You subtract the exponents. And I decided to use the letters M and N, so you didn't, on Friday, when I asked x to the a power plus x to the b power, what did that equal? X to the, not the c power, but the what? A plus b power. So with that knowledge, what's going to go in here?
M minus n.
Right, m minus n, because we subtract our exponents. So it's x divided, this is, you subtract your exponents. Let's practice. Now we have x to the 13th power, I'm going to write it bigger, over x to the 9th power. Simplify that. I subtract my exponents. How many do I have left? 4. So it's 13 minus 9. These cancel out, make a 1, and I have 4 left up on the top, right? X to the 4th power over 1, and what does that simplify to?
4.
X to the 4th power. Done. Can I have a 1x to the 4th power like that?
Yes.
Yep, that's the same. Now, how about this one? 2, now our number has an exponent. 2 to the 10th power over 2 to the 5th power. What do I end up with?
2 to the 5th power.
These would cross out and make 1. How many would I have here? 10 minus 5 is? So I'd have 2 to the 5th power over 1, which equals 2 to the 5th power. So if that's leaving it in exponential form, what if I said I wanted an answer? We'd have to go 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 5 of them. But we're leaving them in exponential form. Parentheses. What do I have left? Top or bottom am I going to have some negative 3's left? I'm going to have some negative 3's left. On the top, how many? 3. Those canceled out. I have 3 left. What's left on the bottom? Because those all disappeared. So that equals, with parentheses, a negative 3 to the third power. Now this is just written differently. It's negative 8, or y to the 8th divided by y. Well, that's just y to the 8th divided by y. Simplify and hold up your answer. How many exponents here on this y?
1.
Don't forget that. So 8 minus 1 is 7. So we have y to the 7th power over 1, which equals just y to the 7th. All right, try this one. Hold up your answer. So we have 8 minus 7 is 1. So we have x to the first power all over 1. Now this one we were talking about is unique. It can be written 4 ways. That simplified is x to the first power, which I would accept, or just a plain x. That's the same thing. Or we could go 1x to the first power, and the last one would be just 1x. All 4 of those mean exactly the same answer, but they're all written differently. Hold up your answer for F. This was interesting. 7 to the 9th power over 7 to the 3rd power. When you subtract the exponents, you're going to get 7 to the 6th power. When you write this one out expanded form, what that means is you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 7s divided by 3 7s. So what's left? 7 to the 6th power. That's how you come up with that. Next page. Now, get them a little fun. Now we get to use what we learned on Friday as well. We're going to multiply first, because we have to simplify the top. What do we get on the top when we simplify?
X over 9.
X to the, yes, because 5 plus 6 is 11, so that turns into x to the 11th over, the bottom stays what? X to the 2nd power. But are we done?
No.
We can simplify that. X to the, I think I heard it, because 11 minus 2, because that's on the bottom here, 11 minus 2, we have x to the what left over?
9.
X to the 9th power over 1, which equals just x to the 9th power. All right? Hold up your answer here. What is 1 times 1?
1.
We have a 1 on the top here. What is 7x squared times x cubed? We have assumed 1 here. 7 times 1 is?
7.
How many x's? Because we're adding now, because we're multiplying. 2 plus 3 is? 7x to the 5th power. Can I simplify that anymore? Can I make it just 7x to the 5th power? No, because the 1 is your numerator, not your denominator, so right here's your whole answer. Can't be simplified anymore. Alright? Awesome. This is fun. Negative 18 x to the 9th power all over x times x to the 7th power all over 3x cubed. Now what should we put here so we don't forget it?
1.
Yes, we have that little exponent of a 1, so we don't forget that one. Do your simplifying and give me your final answer. Hold it up, please. Now, let's just see if you got to the first step correctly. Negative 18, because we multiply our numbers, times 1 is a negative 18. 1 times 3, not 1 plus 3. What's 1 times 3? 3. So that's the number part of our multiplying. Now let's do the variable. That's the coefficients. So now I have x to the 9th times x to the 7th gives me x to the 16th. x to the 1, x to the 3 gives me x to the 4. Now we can simplify those. We don't subtract these like we do in our exponents. Some people were doing that. We simplify these just like a regular fraction. What goes into both 3 and negative 18? What number? 3. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into a negative 18, a negative 6. So we know we have a negative 6 and a 1 left. Now let's do the variables. How many variables left? Because we have to subtract 16 minus 4. These cross out, make 1. What's 16 minus 4? So we have x to the 12th left on top. Negative 6 times x to the 12th. That's what's left on top. What's left on the bottom? 1 and a 1 still equals a 1. So we simplify that to plain old negative 6x to the 12th power. So nice job for those of you that got it. Make sure you get that all written in your notes. Now I want you to hold up the answer for this one, but let me help you show you how to write it if you haven't figured it out already. We have 1 over x to the 5th times, what am I going to do with this x to the 8th? Put a 1 under it. Nice job. X to the 8th over 1. Tell me what you get there. So now 1 times x to the 8th, well that still means it's x to the 8th. That doesn't change. 1 times anything, it stays itself over x to the 5th. This cancels out the 1. How many are left up here? 8 minus 5 is 3. So we have x to the 3rd power over 1, or just x to the 3rd power. Some of you have 1x to the 3rd power, which is also fine. All right. Show me your answer here. Wrote it bigger. I put my assumed 1s in here. What do I get? I can't multiply anything here, so it stays the same. 6x to the 12th power all over. But I can multiply these two. What's 1 times 4? 4. And how many x's? 7 plus 1 is
8.
X to the 8th power. Now I can simplify. I can still simplify. This 6 over 4, we don't subtract them. It's just like a regular old fraction. What goes into both 6 and 4? 2. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 6. Yeah, nice job. So I've got 3 over 2 is my fraction part. 3 over 2. Now how many x's do I have left? 12 and 8. 12 I'm subtracting, now I'm dividing top and bottom. 12 minus 4, or 8 is 4. Do I have x to the 4th left on the top or the bottom?
Top.
Yeah, this cancels out, make 1 x to the 4th up on top. We're going to write it like that. So that's your final answer. 3x to the 4th power over 2.
How do you tell if you're canceling it out or not? Or like,
It's just like a regular fraction. Like, can you simplify 3 over 1
Wait, so
to 3? Can I simplify 7 over 3?
okay, now I'm starting.
No, you can't, because nothing goes into both. That would be simplified. But can I simplify 6 over 2? That could be just what? 2 goes into here once, 2 goes into here 3. We could leave it as 3 over 1, or just 3. So you just treat the coefficients like a regular fraction. And then you subtract the exponent part. All right, here we go. Last Friday, we multiplied the length times the width to get the area. Today they're telling us my area is 27x to the 9th power. So how do I find this missing side? I'm not going to multiply length times width. I'm going to take the area, 27x to the 9th, and do what? Divide it by
3x.
Yeah, by the side they give us, 3x to the 4th, and that'll tell me what my other side is here. So simplify that, hold up your answer. We divided, we simplified by 3. 3 goes into here 1, 3 goes into here 9. Now, 9 minus 4 is? Good, so I have x to the 5th left on the top. So my top, 9x to the 5th, all over 1 times 1 is 1. Simplified is just 9x to the 5th power. One left. When you show me the right answer, you can start your homework, which is pages 4 and 5 in your packet.